Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 12 of our English 1020 online course. So, this is a fun one. We are switching over from Project 3A, which you guys finished last week, into Project 3B. And this is where we can really start to access what we've learned about rhetorical situations, about purpose, audience, about our own knowledge of genres, which are types of writing, which we learned about a little bit in Project 1. And we're also going to tap into our creativity. Yes, this is a visual project. So what I'm going to do in this week's video is I want to talk through the assignment description just so you guys know what all the components are. Also, we're going to kind of look briefly at not just this week, but kind of look ahead to the next couple of weeks to make sure that we're all comfortable with how quickly this project is going to go and what all the moving parts are, not just for the infographic, but for our work as we work to finish out our semester. So I'm going to head over to our Canvas view and we'll get right to it. Okay. So I'm going to start off here in the assignment description for Project 3B, which you should have already at least looked at because I asked you to do so last weekend. But here, one of the things I want to point out is that not only is the introduction and rationale for this project highly integrated into the work we've been doing all semester long, right? So you've been thinking about rhetorical situation, rhetorical appeals, how things are effective in their communication and their argumentation. You've been thinking about your own research process. You've been enacting that research process in a highly academic format and genre. And all along the way, we've been writing in different genres, right? An analysis paper looking at one specific text. We did a reflective narrative, thinking about our own process. We've done a traditional style researched argument where you guys are synthesizing and collating a bunch of secondary sources. And now we're going to work in yet another genre, this one a visual genre, the infographic. Now, if you're like, info, what? Just Google infographic and you'll be like, oh, yes, because it's a genre that we've all likely been exposed to just due to our familiarity with trafficking online. So anytime you are looking at a visual representation of empirical data, that's an infographic. And as you're going to see in this week's homework, there are conventions or things that are usually true in and across all infographics. Here, I'm going to lead you through some analysis and some familiarity to get yourself sort of comfortable with the genre, and then I'm going to ask you to make your own. And your infographic should represent the empirical evidence and the argument that you're making in Project 3A, the paper that you just turned in. Along with the infographic, I'm going to ask you to write up a brief reflection, sort of thinking metacognitively about how you translated your academic research into a visual. So that's kind of the broad strokes. You're going to design your own infographic based on your argument from Project 3A. So this is a visual representation of that evidence-based argument. I'm going to be able to assess your familiarity and your ability to apply rhetorical concepts, your ability to reflect and articulate your choices in your writing, and to give you practice composing in yet another genre of writing, a visual genre. Now, some of you are really super comfortable with visual modes. Some of you maybe feel a little more nervous, but fear not. I'm going to allow you guys to use graphic platforms and interfaces that will give you plenty of support so you do not have to design this from scratch. No coding required. though if you'd like to, you may. So for your infographic, you're going to be translating your argument from Project 3A or an aspect of the argument. If you need to do a little bit of revision or tweaking, you are free to do that. And using the tool of genre analysis, which we're practicing this week, you want to develop not just an understanding of what infographics are, but when an infographic is successful or effective. Do you remember that from when we did our rhetorical analysis in Project 1? We want to think about what makes infographics successful, effective, good, and we want to use those strategies. Then design your own infographic using, I have a link here to Piktochart, which is an online infographic creating platform. You don't have to use Piktochart. You can use Canva. You can use Adobe if you have access to those tools. You can use any infographic making tools that you have at your disposal. But the infographic must be digital, and it must successfully follow some of the conventions that we're going to explore together over the next couple of weeks, taking off for Thanksgiving. And then the reflection paper is not long, a couple pages, talking through your process for making this. And I have some prompts here. You do not have to answer every single one of these prompts, but definitely read through them all and see how many you can effectively answer in your reflective paper. So it's 2 pieces. The infographic itself, which is kind of the bulk of it, but then also your reflective paper, which will be due December 5th. You can see the rubric here that I will use to grade with. And let me click over to this week. You can kind of see where we're starting. So week 12, this is where we are. Definitely want to watch the week 12 instructor video, which you're already doing, so Air 5. There is a mini lesson here that walks you through some layers of analysis for infographics. This mini lesson is going to talk you through the genre conventions. So what makes an infographic an infographic? There's a little vid here and a bunch of samples, but you can also find your own. And in fact, there is a part of the assignment that's going to ask you to do that. So, just Googling infographic of fill in the blank, you could probably see any kind of infographic you want. You'll notice that I have chosen some pretty wacky ones in the samples. This is a brief article that I'd like you guys to read. It's called The Good and Evil of Infographics. Now, it is set up as an interview, so it's a person who specializes in making infographics, Nicholas Felton. But the thing that's really interesting is how the discussion investigates ways that infographics can be manipulated, designed in particular ways to argue particular things. So pay attention to this because it's going to be really important to our consideration of ethical production of infographics. Definitely want to start poking around on Piktochart or the graphic design platform of your choice. And in terms of writing, just a DJ, just a reflection this week, and one project builder that's going to walk you through some initial genre analysis. That's getting at the aspects of this type of communication, the infographic, that answers the question, what makes this what it is? So you can kind of see by today-ish, you want to be watching this video, looking at some samples, maybe the ones I have here, maybe you want to look up your own, and definitely start getting into your reflection. Your reflection prompt for the DJ is designed to be done at any time during this week. So it's not time dependent. It's not like you have to do something first. It's just to kind of get you thinking. By Friday-ish, you want to watch those mini lessons and start working on the genre analysis for your project builder. I know some of you have already turned your project builder 9 in, or project builder 8. Honestly, I don't know how I number them so differently. And then by Sunday, do your reading and start poking around. So before I jump out of our Canvas view, I just wanted to step back one more degree. We started down here looking at the infographic assignment. Then we jumped to week 12 to kind of get our bearings, what's going on during this week. Now I want to step back even further and kind of look throughout the rest of the semester. So first thing, you'll notice you have your DJ, you have your project builder, and there is a discussion here entitled Showcase Theme. And this is the time in the semester when I really start to get us hyped. It is time to start planning and thinking ahead to the CLC's semi-annual writing showcase. So you guys are all in Composition Learning Community classes. All of my classes are, which means you have peer mentors available to you. And we participate with all of the other CLC classes in our end of semester writing showcase. It's a really fun event. We used to do it face-to-face back in ye old days when we were face-to-face, and hopefully we will do so again soon. But this semester, we are meeting online. So what that's going to look like is we're all going to come together on Zoom. And we did this last semester. The Winter 2021 showcase was really fun. We all, hundreds of us, got together on this one Zoom, and we watched videos. The peer mentors did fun videos. We talked through all the different classes. Different teachers sort of highlighted what was cool about what their class was presenting. There was question and answer time. So it just was a really fun online event that was highly interactive. And you can see here, I had a couple of my classes present in the winter, but a bunch of us, these are all the different sections that represent the Composition Learning Community. There were videos you can see here. So if you go to this website, which I'll post in our announcement, you can kind of poke around and see what we did for last year's showcase. It's basically an opportunity for us to showcase the awesome writing progress that you've made this semester. And it's really fun. We have a lot of folks who are not in the CLC who do attend. So administrators, the director of the Learning Communities program, the director of the APEX program, the chair of the English department comes, the director of composition comes. We've even had the dean of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences come. So it's a really cool space for us to talk about the awesome work that you guys are doing. So check out this discussion because I have a couple of starter questions, but I really want us to generate what we want to theme our presentation on. So keep that in mind. Next week is Thanksgiving. So have a great week. I have not planned any activities for us to be doing next week. Take a true holiday. No videos, no nothing. So Thanksgiving break. And then when we come back, we will be finishing up our infographics, drafting, doing peer review, and talking a little bit more about the writing showcase as we plan it. The writing showcase participation is an assignment in this class. So you can see here, once we get back from Thanksgiving, we'll finish up our infographics, and then the week after that is the showcase. So we'll be participating in that as we begin our final project for the course, which is the reflective portfolio. So week 15, we'll kind of get started on the portfolio. We'll present at the writing showcase and participate in that Zoom event. And then during finals week, that's just finishing up your project for your final reflective portfolio, which, if you'll recall, throughout the semester, we've been doing reflective writing and setting stuff aside that we might want to include in that portfolio. So you can look back at that stuff as we move forward toward the portfolio. So man, if you look at it, we're in week 12 and we really have 1, 2, 3-ish weeks. Yeah, like 3 weeks of actual class time. Not including a week for Thanksgiving break, and maybe not if you don't want to include finals week in there. You guys, we are almost to the finish line. I'm going to pull back to my full view and continue my cheerleading spiel to tell you guys how proud I am. Okay, really quick cheerleading spiel because I've gone over on this video already. I am so proud of you guys. You have really been persistent and dedicated in a semester that has been less than ideal. And I just want you guys to know that I see you. I see the hard work that you're doing. I know how difficult it has been this semester, and in fact, like these past 18 months. And I'm so proud of how each one of you has risen to the occasion of taking on the challenge of this class, which is a challenging class under incredibly challenging circumstances. So you guys have had like a double load on your shoulders, and I see it, and you guys are doing awesome in spite of it, and in fact probably thriving in the midst of it, or at least from my point of view. Your work has been very strong, and I'm so proud of every one of you. Keep up the good work. We are almost to the finish line. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week in spite of the cloudy, gray weather. Maybe it makes good studying weather. Of course, feel free to email me if you guys have any questions about anything I presented in this video. Make sure you are making use of your peer mentors. They're here for you. They have their office hours. They're available on the WhatsApp. You can email them, all of those things. All right. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in not next week's video because it's Thanksgiving. I'll see you in a couple weeks after break. Have a great rest of your week. Bye, everybody.